Many years ago, in a quiet community in Africa, there lived a very popular doctor, Dr. Femi. His hospital, Home of Peace Hospital, was the only clinic in the community and the neighboring communities. This made all the villagers flock into his hospital for treatment. But Femi had a bad attitude that would later bring great sorrow to his heart. He would brutally refuse to treat any patient who could not pay for his services, no matter how critical the case was, even if the patient was between life and death. And his refusal to treat some of these poor villagers soon led to the death of some of these villagers who did not have money to pay for their treatment. But Femi did not care. Anyways, Dr. Femi was not this wicked. Earlier on in his career as a doctor, after his graduation from the School of Medicine, as a young bachelor, he made a vow in his heart to support his community by rendering selfless service to his people. Growing up as a child, he watched with painful eyes as he saw his mother pass away from malaria sickness, a common ailment that would have been cured easily with the availability of medical facilities. But unfortunately, there was no hospital in their community and environment at that time. So when he founded Home of Peace Hospital, his clinic was immediately flooded with sick patients, some of which were poor farmers and fishermen with no money to pay for the expensive white man's medicine. They only came with promises of paying him gradually over a period of time. Well, Femi did not mind. He was happy to help his people. The smile on the faces of his patients as they are leaving the hospital, sound and healthy, warmed his heart. And soon, the villagers sang his praises all through the communities. Femi is a godsend, raised by God to wipe the tears of our people, they say. And soon, Dr. Femi became a household name, and all the maidens composed songs of praises for Femi, and they danced to this song in the evening. This made Femi even popular. Well, according to this saying, nothing good lasts forever. Things started going south pretty quickly for the people the moment Femi decided to get married and raise a family. He got married to Lola, a very beautiful maiden from his community. The marriage was the talk of the town. All the other ladies were envious of her. They all wish they were the ones married to Femi. Femi and Lola were a happy couple, loved and respected by the people. Lola soon got pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, much to the joy of everyone in the community. Meanwhile, Dr. Femi continued his practice in his hospital, but at the time whereby he could not help but notice something rather disturbing. His hospital was struggling to stay afloat. He was finding it hard to pay his staff, let alone take care of his family. This made him very sad. Some of the poor villagers who had promised to pay him after treatment were not keeping to their promise. The moment they crossed the hospital gate, that was the last he would see them. This made Femi very sad and angry. His whole world was crumbling down before his very eyes. His staff members were unhappy because he had not paid them for some months and they were threatening to stop working with him. Even his wife was very unhappy. He was not taking very good care of her any longer, and she could not afford to wear new fabric to the missionary church anymore. He could not even afford to enroll Funke, their only child, into the missionary school. All this made Dr. Femi very angry and frustrated, and in the bid to salvage the situation, he did the only thing he could think of. He removed the privilege of payment after treatment. He insisted he must be paid before he would commence treatment on any of his patients, and it actually worked, but at a great cost. You see, because of the hospital new rules, the patients had no other options than to source for money for their treatment, and those that did not have money must look for who to borrow from, otherwise they would not be treated. And immediately, the hospital revenue shot through the roof. A lot of money was flowing into Dr. Femi's hand. Finally, he had enough money to pay his staff and take very good care of his family. But also, something terrible was going on in the hospital. People were dying. You see, some of the patients were really poor, and with no money to pay for their treatment, and no treatment was given to them. Some of the patients kicked the bucket due to the neglect from Dr. Femi, and every day the body of the deceased were rolled out of his hospital. Meanwhile, Femi was unperturbed. He did not care if people die, as long as he was making his money. He felt he was on top of the world, not knowing karma would soon pay him a visit. There was even a time a poor farmer rushed his pregnant wife to his hospital. She was having labor pains and on the verge of giving birth to a set of twins. But there was a complication and she needed to be operated upon immediately. But the farmer did not have money, and Femi obviously was not interested in attending to them without first seeing his mommy. The farmer came to his office with tears rolling down his eyes. He pleaded with him.
Please, doctor, help me. I don't have any money. I promise to pay back immediately I find the money. You can keep my wife and baby here until I source the money and pay the bills.
He pleaded with him, but Femi was not moved by his tears. He laughed hysterically.
Ha 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 ha. I know your type. You want me to deliver your wife so you can run away and leave her for me to be feeding, right? Pregnancy is not an accident. You should have prepared yourself financially before the delivery date to avoid all these long stories. You better go and look for money for her treatment and stop wasting your time.
He fired back at him. Hey, before we jump right back into our story, today warm hug goes to Marion Semora, watching from Sierra Leone. Thank you so much for your love and support. Where are you watching from? Type it in the comment section so I can know you better and send you a hug in our next episode. And do not forget to subscribe to Anita Chocolate. Alright, back to our story. He sent him out of his office. Well, before this farmer could run around looking for money, it was already too late. The wife has passed on with the unborn babies in her tummy. When the people saw what was happening, they were very unhappy. They could not believe Dr. Femi was capable of these wrongdoings. But well, there was nothing they could do, since there were no other hospital around and nowhere to run to for their treatment. Femi was very happy, not knowing great trouble was just round the corner. You see, Dr. Femi's only child, Funke, was enrolled into the missionary school, and on this fateful afternoon, while walking back with a group of her friends, that was when the unimaginable happened. A careless driver left his lane and was coming towards the pupils. The other children saw the vehicle in time and jumped into the bush. But Funke was not so lucky, and she was hit by the vehicle, and the driver, in great panic, zoomed off. The incident caused a great stir in the community. The onlooker, who saw what happened, ran towards the scene of the accident. Funke was injured but was still alive. Another man driving past decided to stop and help. Immediately, he rushed the child to Femi's hospital. By this time, she was between life and death and needed urgent medical attention. Well, this was when Dr. Femi would make the greatest mistake of his life. Before the child could be rushed into the emergency ward, Femi demanded the man must pay a deposit of 200,000 naira before his doctors could treat the child. By this time, he was not aware it was his only child's life that was hanging on the line. The man rushed into Femi's office, pleading with him that he was just a passerby, trying to save the life of an innocent child.
Please, sir, you need to help this child. I'm just trying to save her. I don't have up to 200,000 naira on me, but I have my salary of 100,000 naira with me. Please take it and commence treatment.
He pleaded with him, but Femi, in his usual manner, was not moved by this man's word.
Oga, listen and listen good. I've seen so many people like you. Your kind will come with all kinds of lies just to have your way. See, if you don't have the money I demanded, take your child elsewhere for treatment.
He thundered, looking at him sternly. The man was confused and lingered at the hospital, trying to appeal to the conscience of Dr. Femi to give the order for the treatment to take place. While this was ongoing, the news of this accident soon spread throughout the community, and one of the people who witnessed the incident happened to recognize Funke. She immediately informed Lola of what has happened to their child. Lola, with their neighbor in total panic, rushed down to the hospital, crying profusely. Dr. Femi was surprised to see his wife and neighbors at the hospital, wailing and crying, and he was informed of what has happened and that their child was rushed to the hospital. That was when it dawned on him that maybe this accident this man has been yelling about all this while was his only child. Immediately, he ordered his best doctors to swing into action and give Funke adequate treatment. But well, it was too late. Karma has already taken its course and the child has passed on. Dr. Femi broke down in tears. He had learned his lesson in a very bitter way. And soon, the news of what happened to Femi due to his wickedness spread throughout the community. Those who had lost their loved ones due to Femi negligence, could not help but feel a wave of gratification wash through them. At least now he had a taste of his own bitter medicine, and he learnt his lesson that it was not good to pay evil with evil, and he changed his ways. So here bring our story to an end. Thank you so much for watching today's episode from Anita Chocolate. Please like and share the story with your loved ones. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to really encourage us to create more stories like this one. Also watch these other stories from this channel displaying on your screen while waiting for our next episode. Bye.